Alright folks, so today we're going to be talking about the benefits of becoming a freelance photographer in 2024. Now, as the name applies in the title, we're going to be discussing about why start out a photography/videography business and freelancing it in 2024. What are the things that you would expect to love, or what are the things that you would expect to enjoy starting your journey out in this field? Now, towards the end of this video, there will be a link provided to you for you to download for free a pocket guide on how do you start a video production service on your own, regardless of where you are. Alright, so let's start with point number 1, freedom of time. Now, becoming a freelance photographer, you really truly have the best luxury on the piloting of your time. You have custody of what kind of jobs that you want to accept. Should in some cases there are conflicting schedules that happen to be apart or happen to be in together, there is an option to always say no. Now you can easily go on holidays without having to answer to anybody to apply for leave. You have a great flexibility to enjoy any sort of entertainment at any sort of day if you feel like you don't want to work. Let's move on to point number 2, which is you're your own boss. You basically own everything, right? So you own your camera, your lens, your gears, your travel kits, your drones, whatever not. What more better way to start your journey than to actually own some assets? Now, they do degrade after some time, but the feeling of actually just owning cameras and lenses and becoming an actual production house, as you may deem yourself so, that's insane. So say if you want to rent somebody out your lens that you truly trust, don't rent it to someone you don't trust, rent it to someone you trust, you can actually earn a per day rate on those equipments. Now, in tip number 3, super trivial, but hey, free food, man. Everywhere you go, every single media crew gets to eat for free, majority of the times. Now, in Malaysia, it's a culture of ours that no matter where we go, if you're shooting for corporate, there'll be buffets. If you're shooting for weddings, there'll be gourmets. And, if you're shooting it for like a YouTube channels for other collaborators, chances are they're going to be grabbing some food for you. So, free meals are basically a great incentive for you to become a freelance photographer. Whatever, man. Like, I'll take whatever things that's free in my life, including meals. And in point number 4, let's look into a great mixture of indoor and outdoor. Now, majority of the times, if you look into a field which you want to venture into as a profession, you might want to look into something that's not so sedentary, that's always sticking you down like an office work or, having to answer phone calls or cold calling, or, you want to have that hybrid in you, in the sense that you travel, but at the same time, you're grounded as well. So right after you're done traveling, you would come back up those photos, edit those photos / videos, and those moments are the time you actually spend alone time, like right now in my room. So these are what ground me and basically recharges me for my next trip outdoors. So I'm not the kind of person that loves going outdoors 24/7, nor can I remain in a building like this 24/7. So having a profession that has a hybrid where you go out and shoot and come back to edit, that's a bliss. I love this setup, and hence why I chose this life. And moving on to point number 5 is you basically get to meet very famous or influential or powerful people in your journey as a media crew. So in my line of work, I've met up with collaborators, with people with huge followings on social media. I've met up with legitly the Royal Highness Queen of Negeri Sembilan, passed on one of my mics herself. So I get into extremely close proximity of very high-ranking officials, politicians, if some of you do that, CEOs of companies, doing interviews. You get to really get up close, breathing the same air as them. And those are the greatest aspect and the one that I really give highest regards to in life. Now, point number 6 is one of my personal favorites as well. Now, I would say that photography and videography has a pretty low skill level entry. Now, you could basically own a camera and reference your work online to get to know what you want to do, and you do it. You copy it, right? It's not that hard to copy the craft. Now, when I say this, I know I'm going to get a lot of comments flaming me about it, but listen me out. There will be a low ceiling of entry, but a high ceiling of perfection. Now, the many of us who are just starting out, we will copy our work based on somebody else's work, replicating the same effects, the same style. Now that's why I mentioned as low entry, and that's perhaps where you would want to try going into photography and videography as a freelance service. But to excel in what you do and be known for what you do, and that's a really high ceiling. In the craft of photography, there are tremendous amount of creatives, flexibility, and people who do things out of the norm and are known for that. And that's why it is of a very high ceiling for you to have a niche and truly exceed at what you do. For me, where I'm at, I don't even have that. I'm just living by doing everything under media. Hence why I would promote people to think themselves as media producers. I do photos, I do videos, I do commercials, I do narrations, I do all of those things. Am I good at any of them? Not the best, but I'll get the job done. And that's where I live, and that's where you might want to go as well. But to say, if you just want to become the best contemporary photographer, the best fashion photographer, the best medical photographer, you soon to realize that there is a very high ceiling in which you need to breach, and those kind of ceilings takes time for you to develop your skills. Alright, so in conclusion of this lengthy video, who is this for? The people who doesn't like to be closely monitored by somebody else, be it a manager or a boss, who wants their own private time to themselves to do some other endeavors. This could be a pretty interesting thing for you to answer. Coming from the fact that cameras these days are so affordable for you to get full frame, that could be a low entry barrier for you to really start this business. So with this in mind, thank you so much for watching. I hope that this video has been nice and kind enough for you to basically unveil the 2 cents or the narration of why you should go into this journey. Again, follow up on this. I will have a separate video talking about why you should not go into this business, but that will be on a separate video. So anyway, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll check you out again in the next episode. See you guys.